Hi, friends, and welcome to Nature Check, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. I can hear myself. There we go. Okay, I'm good. We're good. I know how to do this. Hi. We are doing a special one-shot today, so you might see some new faces and some returning faces on screen. But before we get into what we are doing today, I want to remind you that you can hang out with us in the chat. The GM for today might have some things for the chat to do to participate in the game. You can also find our socials down below. You can hang out with us on Discord. You can find us on Twitter, where we share whatever's coming up next, and you know that you can find us here most Sundays with something, whether it's a one-shot or our Arctic campaign or our nature chats. The next broadcast on following Sunday will be a nature chat, a recap. But today, let's introduce the cast. I'm Sheryl. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a PhD student studying ecology at the University of Illinois in Chicago. And when I'm not doing my research, I'm also a science communicator and the host of the Roving Naturalist on YouTube, and I cannot talk today. Goodness. And then we'll go around the circle. So next there's Ethan.
Hi, I'm Ethan Kosak. I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and amphibian enthusiast, and general layabout.
Then there's Maria.
Hi, my name is Maria. I am an ecologist and a biology consultant for video games and tabletop role-playing games.
And then there's Chelsea.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. I'm from the Caribbean and I study tropical lizards, the best lizards of all, anoles. And I'm also really into birds and just tropical biodiversity on a whole. And I'm on Twitter at Chelsea Herbst. I tweet a lot. I'm also going back home soon, so you'll get to see some cool tropical animals if you follow me soon.
Yes, pictures. And the person who's in charge of all of this today is Lucas.
Hi, I'm Lucas Zellers. I'm really excited to be here. My background is in journalism. Which means that I just have this bad habit of asking questions to people who know what they're talking about. And so far it's paid off, because every now and again I meet really exciting nerds, people who are qualified in their fields. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm the creator of a project called Book of Extinction. This is resurrecting extinct animals as D&D monsters. We're publishing it in partnership with Mage Hand Press, and Nature Check has, as a group, graciously allowed me to bring science communication to D&D in a whole new level through their platform. So we're going to be going through a quick adventure tonight with some of the animals that are going to be in the book. I will say, if you want to get a sneak peek of what we're doing, and if you want to get a preview of Book of Extinction right now, you can go to scintilla.studio/extinction. That's scintilla.studio/extinction. And you'll be able to download the first 3 monsters in the book for free. You can pay what you want for it, and anything we make through that preview is going to go to support the Center for Biological Diversity, which is a legal and media advocacy organization based in Portland that works on behalf of endangered species and wild places in the US and all over the world. And I encourage you to do that as soon as you can, because you might I don't know, it might help you when we come to the latter half of this game, maybe. So, oh gosh, it's just
It's just you.
Yeah, Cheryl's staring at me. It's my show now.
It's your
show. Man.
Welcome back to Tenebria. This is a world that is full of nature. This is a world before, I think, imagine, if you will, the kind of world that every fantasy writer is asking you to imagine. One that is wilder and deeper and broader than the one you live in now. One where concrete fades to green and you find yourself in forests as deep as oceans and oceans deeper than time. And as in our world now, there are places in this world where people gather to try to understand it better, and that brings us to the University of Igsil. Am I getting that right?
Iskil University.
Iskil University. And I want you guys to meet some people, because we're going to pan through the menagerie at the University of Iskil. We're going to pan across the grounds, beautifully manicured, tended by druids at the height of their craft. This is a world where you can grow a flower in the palm of your hands at will. And imagine what kind of pride a groundskeeper would take in their work if that was a part of their lived experience. And through those grounds, all the way to the hallowed halls of the university at Iskil, where there is a rock gnome who's walking the halls of this university. And Sheryl, would you describe your character for me and tell us what she would be doing on the average afternoon?
So Breena is little gnome, sort of like curly blonde hair bouncing at her shoulders and like big blue eyes. And she's got there's a lot of armor on this tiny little person. And she sort of does the kind of walk where she bounces on the balls of her feet as she goes. And she's just sort of bouncing her way down the hallway. She normally spends a lot of time outside, walking the greener areas and sort of just keeping a general eye out for the wilder places and making sure that, people aren't poaching or doing anything else untoward in wild spaces. But today she's been summoned, I guess, inside. So she's bouncing her way down the hall towards where she's headed.
And do you have a standing relationship with the university? Or more of a consultant role?
I think, this is more of a consultant kind of thing. She's not an established student or faculty or staff or something like that. Freelance.
Okay. You are looking for an office, and in worlds like this, office is this is a term that I'm bringing from the modern era, wherein there are books and computers and IKEA. But picture, if you will, the office of someone for whom refrigeration is not perhaps a fact of life. This is a rough-hewn slab. This is really more of a work table that occupies most of this room. And surrounding you are jars of specimens that vary in size from about that big to about as big as you, all of them in cloudy,
formaldehyde.
I want to say ether, but that's wrong. The other one. Formaldehyde. Yeah, didn't we stop using that for reasons?
It's super toxic, which is why people use it as a preservative.
Okay, well, this room is full of a super toxic preservative. And it is also stacked high with maps and samples, like potted plants in very small earthen jars. And there's one window in this office, and it is on the back. It is barred, and in front of it is a man who you know very well. This is he's an older human man with a full beard and probably long dark hair that's sort of pulled back and tied off and graying at the temples. We'll give him the Reed Richards because, I don't know, goals. And he hears you come in and he says, Breena, please come in. I'm so glad to see you.
Hi.
I have a job for you. I need you to gather a specimen for me. It is a very important piece of my research that I'm working on, and it is very important that it be taken alive and unharmed.
Have you perhaps heard of the Frog of Holding?
Has she perhaps heard of the Frog of Holding?
Oh gosh, I didn't know. I mean, hey, first roll. Let's get to it. This is going to be an intelligence arcana check.
Oh, good. Okay. Yikes.
I think I'm looking for a DC 13 on this.
Oh, off the table. Ah! That was a nat 20. Okay.
Oh, no! Awesome.
Okay, well if that's the kind of game we're playing, then here we go. Yeah, for sure. You majored in this. Yeah, you've heard of a bag of holding, and you are perhaps one of the few people on Tenebria who knows exactly what a frog of holding is, because you're familiar, I think, with the harvesting and farming of wild animals, wild and semi-wild animals for uses both fashion and practical. And the frog of holding is a naturally occurring bag of holding. It's an animal that creates its own extra dimensional space. And on a nat 20, you know that extra dimensional space is used to incubate the frog's young. You also know that it's extremely weird as bags of holding go, because ordinarily the artificial kind doesn't have its own oxygen. Like you have, if you somehow stuffed yourself into a bag of holding, you'd have about a minute to live. Standard adventuring practice is never get in the bag of holding unless you have a plan to get out, and preferably 2 or 3. But the frog of holding, part of its unique magic is that the atmosphere and the body heat of the mother frog is able to pass through into the extra dimensional space that the froglet occupies.
Yes, I have. Is that you want one of those? They're weird.
Well, weird isn't quite the word that I would use to describe them. Fascinating, I think, and most profitable indeed.
I mean, sure, it can be both. Like, weird is just like weird isn't a judgment. It's not bad. It's just weird.
This is how I knew you were the right choice, Breena. This is I don't have to remind you that this is an extremely volatile creature. Extra-dimensional spaces are difficult to handle under the best of circumstances, and in the wild, in the field, in the actual act of retrieving this, it can be extremely difficult. Which means we're going to have to put together a team that operates like a well-oiled machine. A team with no cracks, with a flawless organization like cogs in a clock. Who would you recommend?
Oh boy. No pressure. Man, let me think about that.
Am I aware of these other people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
I should tell the people at home, we're operating at about level 5, which is the level at which you reach the peak of like regional notoriety.
Oh, okay.
You are the guy, by level 5, you are the guy who did the thing that one time that everyone is still talking about.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like people who know their way around the forest go, I think that Esculenta could be a really good choice, and you're saying extremely volatile, so every adventurer should be prepared for things to go wrong, so maybe Karell?
Well then, I will send Cedric immediately. Cedric, come in here! And the person who enters the room is somewhat shorter, much younger, and with a beard that can only be described as aspirational. And he's wearing dusty boots and riding pants and a jacket sort of thrown haphazardly over, and this is roughly the same appearance that is as we pull back
out of that office like lightning through the window, and we plunge deep into the forest, past the beaten paths and around the corners and over the rivers and through the woods, to a very particular tree. Chelsea, would you like to describe Esculenta's tree for me?
Yeah. So Esculenta lives in this huge gnarled tree. Kind of looks like, every time you look at it, it's like, I don't know, looks like termites are in it. Just looks a little precarious. Like any minute, if there's a strong wind coming through the forest, maybe it'll fall over, but somehow it's still pretty strong. So that's her tree. She loves it. It's home. There's lots of different plants hanging from the branches that she's collected and hung upside down to dry. There's baskets hanging on branches as well. Some of them have berries, some of them empty. There's also lots of large clay pots outside that you can only probably guess are just filled with wine.
Tell me what do any of these herbs that you've been drying have the kind of smell that would knock a city dweller on his ass?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're dried now, so you'd really have to like come up to them and like be like, "What is this?" and like break a leaf open.
Waft, don't sniff.
It's not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think the thing that tells you someone has come to visit your tree is the sound of coughing. This person took a wrong turn somewhere past the wine jug and has run full face like a spider web in the woods into one of these bundles of drying herbs. And you hear, oh, jeez, oh my, oh, allergies. Oh no, what is that? Oh, she better be with it. Esculenta? Esculenta? Are you here?
Maybe. Who is it? Who wants to know?
This is the same guy that Breena met in the office. He's a younger human man, probably in his early 30s. Again, dusty riding boots.
Have we met before?
Yes. This is Cedric Billingsby.
Okay.
Cedric Billingsby.
Him.
Yeah, him.
He didn't pay me last time I found him submitted.
Checks
and
in the mail.
I could have kept them for myself. How can I help you again, Cedric?
Esculenta, we're putting together a team to retrieve a very valuable animal, a particular specimen that needs an experienced hand. And I of course I'm familiar with your work, and you do know your way around the woods. I really do know your way. Trust anyone else with this. Well, I would, because we're getting a couple of other people, but we would like you to be there. Are you perhaps available for the next couple of days? Like, can any of this sort of ferment on its own for a while?
Well, you haven't paid me for last time. And if I'm going to leave all of this wine alone, like, what if somebody comes by and tries to steal some of it? Also, I could be out in the village selling. So you're costing me money. So I'm just going to wait for you to name a price.
Man, Esculenta is on the grind. Gosh. Well, and remind me what it was. I know we talked about this. Remind me what the last job you did was.
It helped you find this rare fruit tree that you needed for your collection. So you collected some flowers and some berries to take back to the museum.
Right. Man, I wish we could. Well, I'll keep that for a second. Cedric begins to look very uncomfortable. the expression hasn't been the checks in the mail hasn't been created yet. So Sedgwick is in the act of creating that idiom before your very eyes. And what he comes up with is, for the specimens are still being evaluated, of course, for their value to the university, and of course the budget and the available funds as overruns this year have been tragic with the droughts up north and the difficulty of. You have that look on your face that tells me I'm not doing very well.
Gotta give me something.
What would you be happy with?
Well, I heard that recently you had an expedition all the way up north, and you found this new berry that I was hoping to, go find on my own. If you guys have a lot in your collection, why not just give me some? And you still have to pay me the rest of the balance, but I'll consider your new expedition for now. I don't think I have her. She's an elf. She's a wood elf, so she's taller than Cedric is. She's dark skin and dark green hair, big poofy hair, and an undercut. And
yes,
lips are like berry stained, and her eyes are lowered, and you wonder why, but you know why, and you won't ask. So she leans over you because she's taller, so she's leaning over you. She's like, just give me the berries, and we can talk about the rest of the money later.
You want the brumbleberry?
Mm-hmm. Is that a problem?
When you say the brumbleberry, do you need the berry itself, and do you need it dried, or do you need like a cutting from the plant itself? Because we're talking in ascending degrees of difficulty here for each of those.
I'll take a cutting.
Okay, I was afraid you were going to say that. Professor Collins is not going to like this.
He doesn't have to know.
Well, see, actually he does, because he is the one who it's in his office right now. So I will, you know what? And he does some math in his head about the relative value of a frog of holding and a unique pungent magically reactive berry from the far north of this continent, and something breaks in Sedgwick's mind, and he says, "You'll have it."
Great. Love to hear it. When do we leave?
We are going to cut back on that question to this would have been a better answer, to Sedgwick's own voice. And he is saying it is just his voice. Picture absolute blackness, as black as a tar pit, and Sedgwick's voice cutting through that blackness saying, "Karell, when do we leave?" And this is some time ago, and it is dark because it is in the depths of a cave system, some miles from the university. And the other sound in the room is Sedgwick handling the rough edge of a hempen rope, 50 feet of it to be exact, coiled at his waist, and leading forward and somewhat down to be wrapped around the waist of another creature much shorter than Sedgwick himself. So I would ask you, Ethan, to describe your character, except its pitch darkness. We didn't talk about this before the stream. I forgot about it. But I think what I'd like to do is I think I'd like to give this, rather than assigning a mechanical weight to the condition of blindness, we're going to assign it narrative weight. So what I want you to do is tell me how Karell perceives the world. In pitch blackness, through whatever biological or mystical or magical means available to him,
Okay.
How does Karell see the world around him, and how does he see himself?
So he doesn't use any sort of supernatural means. He's using his excellent hearing. He has tympanums on the side of his head. He's got he has tympanums on the side of his smell. Being the creature that he is, he can sense all sorts of pheromones and smells around him at any given time. So he has a pretty complete picture of the world around him, even in total blackness.
What you're getting at this particular moment is the awareness of a spreading stain underneath Sedgwick's armpits. He is extremely nervous, as anyone who had been walking in utter blackness for several hours would be. And you got to give him credit for it. He's walking with a pace. He's not lifting his feet off the ground. He's sliding them forward and away in order to keep track of where the ground is beneath him. And you've been leading Sedgwick deeper and deeper into a cave system at his behalf. You're looking for a particular, I think we said fungus? You're looking for a particular fungus that only grows in the burrows of cave bears. And this is an expedition not without risk, because the only kind of bear that exceeds a cave bear in size is an owl bear. These are the top of the hierarchy of bears, and they are known to gather by the hundred, or their remains rather are known to you at least, and perhaps after this expedition to the broader body of scientific knowledge, to gather by the hundreds in certain caves all over Tenebria. And many of these bones have in the past been mistaken for dragon bones, but you, Karell, you know better, because you know the oily smell, the oily metallic scent of a dragon, and you know the rusty kind of woody smell of a cave bear. And this cave is flooded with it. But you're also very keyed in to the smell of what you're looking for. And it is just forward and to your left.
So we just have a little bit further to go. And if you would just be quiet and creep forward a little bit, we can get out of here.
Okay.
And stop breathing so loudly.
You get... Gosh, I can't even hear that. Okay. You're the expert. I'll just...
Don't step there.
Oh, gosh! What was that? It's so wet.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, so you work your way around the corner, and you find this fungus. It is blue and green in vivid bioluminescence, and you nailed it. This is the 1 week of the year when you can harvest the fruiting body of this mushroom. So you hear the click of a pocket knife behind you as a little bit of light has reached Sedgwick's eyes, and he's ready to go cut some of these things off.
Just hang on a second, because I need to check something. And he lifts up one of them and notices that there are mites all over it.
I'm sorry, you just hit on one of my actual real life.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'll back that off for now. Please continue.
You can't take these. These are infested.
Okay. So what do we do?
I think we have to push just a little bit further.
Oh, God.
But don't take those because they're extremely hallucinogenic when they have the mites on them.
Oh. Okay. How do you know? You know what? I don't need to know. Okay. And you lead him a little further into the cave. And the next sound you hear as the light of that patch of mushrooms recedes behind you is a rattling that's not unlike wooden blocks in a bucket. As oh, you have no idea. As Sedgwick walks foot first into a pile of bones. And he can't help himself, really. He drops to his knees immediately and he picks one up. It's fully fossilized, dry. I mean, you would know if these things were covered in strings of meat and tendons, but this is easily, I'm just going to keep going until I run out of frame. This is far too long. This is the remains. This is the remains of a cave bear, which means that you've gone maybe perhaps a little too deep.
All right. I think in about 3 or 4 yards up ahead, there should be a patch, and I'm not smelling any mites. So if we just creep forward a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to take the pocket knife again. Yeah. Oh. It's pure.
Oh man, I would love for you, Karell, to roll me a dexterity sleight of hand check, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
So if you are, it's your dexterity modifier, and if you're proficient in the sleight of hand skill, you can add your proficiency bonus as well.
Okay. I'm +2 on sleight of hand.
Perfect.
And then which one? I'm sorry. Which one am I rolling?
So it'll be a D20.
Okay.
The icosahedric god of this game. Hope I got that right for the geometry people in the audience.
I got a 7.
Oh boy. Not your best work, I'll say. You can tell because the light in the mushrooms has gone out. You've cut through one of the root stems. You can tell because the light in the mushrooms, and you can still use these if you're quick about it. You're going to have to double time it back through the cave that you've just traversed, and I think it's at that point that you hear.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
So we're interested in the compound that's in these, correct?
Yeah.
And my people are capable of ingesting toxins and sequestering them for later. I propose that I eat this and we can get out of here post haste. And then you can extract it from me when we get back.
I'm sorry. I have so many questions. First of all, and not the least important of which, and it's at that moment that, like, the other thing we don't have at this particular point in the development of the world is the sound of a motorcycle turning over. So it's hard for you. So like, you don't have that language to describe this noise. But you, Karell, know that as the sound of a cave bear waking up 3 or 4 turns down. You guys are out of time.
There's no time for that now.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm gonna have to ask you to make a Constitution saving throw. Not, I think, because you are at fault here or at risk, but because I want to know exactly, under the duress of this particular circumstances, how pure this compound is when it is extracted.
Okay.
So this will be a saving throw. It's different than an ability check. It should be in a different section of your sheet. And
okay. Saving throws, okay. So, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have any saving throw modifiers.
Oh boy.
So am I doing a D20 again?
Yes.
Okay. 20 again?
Yes.
3.
Okay. We're gonna cut back to Professor Collins's office and a somewhat sheepish Cedric Billingsby. And Karell, you are so proud of your work. That could have gone sideways in about 17 different ways, and none of them happened because you, eagle-eyed missile man that you are, took charge of the situation, made a plan, and stuck to it. The liquid in this jar is far more cloudy than it should be. But you get 4 words from Professor Collins, and they are, "It'll have to do." And Cedric will be telling this story later at a gala at the university. Kind of a minor thing. This isn't like a shareholders meeting or a big anniversary or anything. This is just I don't know, like a work mixer where Cedric is telling the story of this particular adventure to a tall woman in a simply cut green dress who is wearing a single uncut ruby on a chain at her throat. And he says, "You should have seen it, Miss Fletcher. They glowed. I mean, they glowed. And I'm blind as a bat underground, but even I could spot it. And it made me feel a certain kind of warmth and accomplishment inside." And Ms. Fletcher says, "Yes, but isn't that..." See, I heard it that you had to, you know what? It doesn't matter what I had to do. We achieved the compound and the research is progressing splendidly. You know what? Let me introduce you to a friend of mine, as Cedric from across the room calls over. He says, "Fletcher, Ms. Fletcher, come over here. This is Kira. And Maria, would you describe your character for me?"
Yes.
And Maria,
So
would you
her name is
describe your
Kira.
character for
I
me?
am a female moth firbolg with long hair.
And
I am a
Maria,
bard
would
who
you
favors
describe your
handheld
character?
drums. Currently, despite the function being a bit formal, I'm wearing a very long, roomy dress, the kind that you may wear for like a nice Saturday gardening. At my back, there is a harp. In my belt, peeking behind the cloak, is a sickle, not very well disguised for the occasion, but in hand in case I need to collect some samples or something that I find interesting. My mission in life is to listen to the sounds of nature and learn how to imitate them. So I often spend my time peeking around where maybe I am not supposed to be, but who can stop the curiosity and wonder that inhabits the world?
I certainly can't. Cedric says, "Kira, I would love for you to meet. This is Magrath Fletcher. She is a collector and a benefactor of the university, and she has recently delivered to us a specimen that I think you will be very interested in." And he brings you over to a wire cage that has been hung on a shepherd's hook in the corner of the room, and inside are 2 pigeons. And ordinarily, pigeons do not exhibit sexual dimorphism. That is, if you find a male pigeon and a female pigeon, they're gonna kind of look the same. In this particular instance, that is not true. It's a mated pair, and you can tell because one is kind of a brownish. Oh gosh, I almost said mauve because I was struck with my own. I was struck with the need to describe a color. But the one on the right is a masterwork to behold. It is shimmering in pinks and purples, just all the way across the wing and from the crown of its head down to its tail. And Cedric says,
Fletcher has brought these particular specimens in because, as I have been told, they have an extremely unique song, and I would love for you, Kira, to hear it. I don't exactly know how to get them to do that. I'm sure if we just stand here long enough, it'll happen. Maybe you can stand here, and I will go get us some punch, and let you forget about stories that I may have told. And he walks off.
Is the lady still with me? Or
yeah.
Oh, I'm like, oh, these birds are lovely, but why are they in a cage?
Well, there are two answers to that. One is that how else are we going to keep them here to display them at a party?
Why you could just invite them to the party like I was invited.
I understand. This is a Furbolg thing, is it not? I understand. I am not blessed with the gifts that you have been, and it is it's a necessity of mine to bring a caged bird. But I do hope, Kira, that you can tell me why it sings. And she leans over. I had to. And she leans over and she lifts the hook on this copper wire cage, and just steps back.
Okay, and I'm gonna use my speech of beast, which lets me to communicate in a limited manner with animals. They can understand what I mean, but I don't have any way to understand what they do. And I have advantage in charisma checks to influence them.
Okay. Well then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell me what you're going to tell me.
I peek, my rather big face into the cage, and I'm like, "Hello. The folks here would love to hear you sing, and I think if you do that, maybe you'll be able to go back. If you wanted to go back, you can also stay at the party. I've seen lots of fruits over at the table."
Yeah.
What do you say? And I sort of retreat my face and, leave them space.
Okay. I mean, this is a persuasion check if ever I've heard one.
Okay.
And of course, you have advantage on this.
I rolled a 3 and a 4, but let me see what I have. Okay, that's a 7 total.
Okay. So here's how we're going to spin that so we don't get tied up in this scene. Fruit first, then song. And
of course, follow me.
Okay. The other thing I'd like you to do, Kira, is I would like you to make a wisdom insight check for me.
Okay. Oh, that, of course, now I roll good. Not when it matters. Okay, that's a 17.
Excellent. There are you're used to listening to the world. In fact, you've made kind of a profession out of it. And in your experience, rooms full of people are often very similar. They might think that they're different from a crowd of birds in the woods, but in your experience, they're very similar. The way that heads turn on a swivel, and if you don't look at any one head, but out of the corner of your eye, you can see the whole room's focus kind of converge. There are, at I would say, about 12 or 18 foot intervals around the room, very well-dressed people. And with a 17, that you can see that these are sort of the most capable people in the room. And they are all very much focused on you as you bring these two birds over to this plate, and they begin to just have the time of their lives.
I'm going with them.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, they're no one's like made a move on you for this, except for Sedgwick Billingsby, who has completely forgotten about Punch and has run over and it says, Kira, my goodness, I didn't realize that you had been cleared to handle the pigeons. Was this something that is Professor Collins here? God, I hope not.
I don't know. They just said they wanted some fruit, and afterwards they will be happy to sing.
Oh.
What fruit?
There's two things fighting each other in Cedric's place. That's like and you can see it. You can see those two things pulling his weight from left foot to right foot. The one on his left foot, the one closest to you, is I have never heard these birds sing, and I've had them in my collection for weeks. And the one that's pulling on his right foot is, if this goes sour, I'm going to lose my job. But the balancing weight in the middle of his left and right foot is the mango in his hand. So he just waits it out. And before too long, these birds do sing. And I think there's, I'm getting it mixed up with there's so many birds, you guys. When I started working on extinct animals, I had to create a column, and all it tracks is, it's just bird ? And it just says yes or no. So I often get my birds mixed up, but I'm pretty sure there isn't a recording of the sound that this birds make. Maria, if you wouldn't mind, I would love for you to wonder with me what the call of a passenger pigeon sounds like.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. Make it maybe like a more subtle version of a lyrebird.
I understand. I think lyrebirds are mimics, aren't they?
I am not sure.
Okay. And we don't have to bark. Again, I don't want to.
Australia, I'm not sure.
Okay.
How well do they mimic things?
Suffice it to say that this is, if uniqueness is beauty, then this is the most beautiful sound that you've ever heard. And the room goes silent for a heartbeat and a half, which in terms of actual full silence from a crowd of people is an eternity. And the Fletcher one is just holding that ruby, utterly shocked. And there's a wet splat as at the end of this song, as Sedgwick has dropped the mango, and that thing is not coming back. And he says, Kira, we're taking another expedition tomorrow, and I would
can come. Yes.
Well, I just meant that
here. I would love to visit. Where are we going?
Well, I just meant that maybe I could bring something back, and then you could look at it and ask it a few questions in your way.
What's the fun for that?
Fun isn't the word that I would use to describe this particular. Risky is more of a thing that I would say, and long and dense for the route. So maybe I can.
Sounds like you could use some music along the road. And I just grab my harp and I start trying to imitate what I just heard on my harp, and I'm like, imagine this. We could perfect what we just heard.
Hey, you guys gonna eat that other pigeon?
The same song is playing the next morning when all four of you are gathered in the courtyard of the university at Iskil. Who's the first to show up? Because I think it's Breena.
Because I'm getting paid.
Oh yeah, you because you're getting paid.
You are there with an invoice.
I took my time. It's itemized. I order. I double checked them. Took my time. I may add a couple fees as we go along, depending on what it is. But we'll see at the end what the full total is. So for now, here's your preliminary invoice. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Get it, girl.
I'm there, but I'm asleep in the supplies.
Okay, so Cedric is here exchanging documents with with Esculenta. Where are Breena and Kira?
I think Breena is probably just like checking over the supplies to make sure like we have everything we need and like just sort of like shifting,
you have everything you need,
like
and
shifting Karell to
and like 40 extra pounds.
Yeah. Well, because like Karell and Breena are like the same size, right? Like we're very
roughly
small.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's like
mechanically small.
Yeah.
I didn't actually describe my character in our little opening.
So yeah, Ethan, go ahead. Wait.
Probably should have done that.
Breena opens like a 40-liter backpack.
Yeah.
What's inside it?
So he is what looks like, for all the world, a 3.5-foot tall newt. He's technically a grung, but he's a specific subspecies of grung that resembles caudates more than ranids.
I'm out. Do I have to ring the science bell, or is that like something that I should know?
Yeah, Anura, frogs, toads, that kind of thing. Most grungs resemble.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Caudal is the science word for tail.
Thank you.
So caudate is tailed amphibian.
Yep.
And so he's asleep in the supplies. It's a big newt.
So she like peeks in the backpack and just like pulls the drawstring to like close it again.
What do you want?
Sorry.
I arrive while this is happening. I have a drum like hanging from my neck, and I'm like playing a little tune, and I'm skipping to the tune.
Aww.
And as I arrive, I'm like, "Hello!"
Is someone playing music? Is that drums?
I think it's a hangover.
Yes.
Oh,
We have an tune. Is that what's happening here?
I'm coming with you. I heard there's some exciting expedition, and I figured we could use some music and some entertainment. Cedric here and I yesterday heard wonderful pigeons sing, so I've been trying to get the tune right.
Yes. Everyone, this is Kira. Again, she has insisted that she come along, and he'll go around and make introductions. Real quick, if the answer to this is no, that's fine. Do any of you guys know each other already?
If I do, I'm gonna pretend I don't.
I was about to say it. Like, I think the grung looks familiar, but I don't say anything.
Oh gosh, bunch of antisocial.
I'm a very social person, but I'm very new here. So.
I think Breena at least knew of the others, even if she hadn't like met them before. But
Sure,
Kira is new.
Okay.
Breena just like cranes her neck back to look up at Kira and is like, "Oh, hi."
Hello. So, what is this expedition we're going for?
So study. Quick sidebar here. I'm gonna have to add a listening fee if we're gonna have a bard on this. I love music. I just, sometimes it interrupts me listening to the animals. So I'm just gonna put that on your invoice.
Don't worry. This is only for the city. Once we get into nature, I also like to listen into it.
Nice. Okay, cool. I'm still gonna put the charge on it.
Are you?
If that's how you do, you do you.
Hedgelick, are you joking?
It's Cedric, and no, I'm not. This is the group. Everyone, this is Karell and Breena and Kira and Esculenta. All of you are extremely capable woodsmen and women. You've been selected for this. Gosh, a little bell in the back of my brain went off and said, "Your car's extended warranty." Yeah. Gosh, okay, try again.
On Breena's recommendation, Professor Collins has invited all of you to has signed all of you to this particular job. And I have the description of the job. You'll learn each other's, you're going to have some time to talk. You'll learn each other's proficiencies and particular skills when you find out what Kira's are. Tell me. And so here's the plan. We need you to retrieve a living specimen of the frog of holding. And Breena can tell you what that is. Suffice it to say, it is extremely large, and it is able to magically sustain an extra dimensional space within it. We are interested in. We have a report that there is a they are actively reproducing at this time of the year. There is a specimen there with a froglet. A living froglet, which is much smaller, much easier to transport and maintain. So we need you to leave the frog and bring back the froglet.
So just the one frog.
The one.
Okay.
At this point, I unscrew one of those formaldehyde sample jars.
Oh no!
And take a swig and say, "We're all gonna die."
You know, if you want something to drink, I did bring enough wine for this.
Gosh.
Thank God.
Oh, no.
So all we have to do is become friends. Kira just looks at you. So all we have to do is become friends with a froggy?
Right. Friends.
Well, and then convince that frog, somehow return the frog here, like right here. Actually,
this is a fun expedition.
But like, you don't just want us to like drop it here and leave. Like, you want us to like bring it here and then like help you put it somewhere else so that like because if we just like dropped it here and then left, it would also probably leave.
Clarity of expression is important. Thank you for reminding me, Breena. Yes, we have a place. We're working on a whole apparatus to contain the frog, and we'll that will be ready by the time you get back. We're just putting the finishing touches on it today. And I have a few things for you. I have some. I have, and he hands you a map. That's going to show you the route. I've never made field notes.
Okay.
For those of you who have made field notes, would you ever hand anyone your first draft?
No.
Cedric would.
Good. It's probably not on Write in the Rain paper either, is it?
Oh, God. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a thing. It's very expensive.
I bet. I want it now. No, certainly not. Suffice it to say, this will take some doing to follow. Not your first rodeo though. This isn't impossible. We've already mentioned equipment, so you have like your standard adventuring equipment at level 5 for those of you keeping track of the stats. We also, I think we said 2 uncommon magic items. So there's a couple extra little boosts around there that are part of the standard adventuring kit. The other thing I'm going to give you is that I don't know if anybody has a player's handbook to hand, but if you have in mind a piece of adventuring equipment that valued at 25 gold pieces or lower, the university will stake it. So if there's like an extra thing that you want to bring for this in particular, let me know.
They have money just laying around for field supplies?
No, but they have field supplies. And I had to cap it at 25 because spyglass is on the list. And guys, there comes a moment in every dungeon master's life where they discover that a spyglass costs 1,000 gold pieces. For me, that moment came a while ago, and so I had to had to give some sort of number on this. But basically, nets, crowbars, bags of ball bearings, pitons.
A net might be good. Like a big net. How big is the froglet?
Like
a froglet-sized net would be good.
Does it need water? Like, how are we going to keep it moist on the way back?
That's a good question.
It's a great question. Science moment. What? Thank you. All right, I'm going to peel the veil back for a second so that either you guys know that I'm messing up or you can help me get it right. The frog of holding is inspired loosely by the gastric brooding frog, which lived in Queensland near the coast in Australia and was described in 1973 and extinct in the wild by 1981.
Oh, that's nice.
So right, here we are. That's the game that we're playing in the book that I'm writing. I've been doing this for a year, and I'm much sadder and wiser than I was when I started. But I do, for that reason, know that, yes, this is a frog that lives in streams and does need to be kept moist.
So it sounds like it's brooded, though, in an interdimensional space. So wouldn't a bag of holding actually be the proper way to convey a froglet of holding?
No.
Oh?
There's no air in there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's sort of a secondary problem, because if you
it's a extra dimensional space inside an extra dimensional space.
Yeah, don't do that.
But the frog does it.
See, that's why we want one.
Oh.
We're trying to figure that out.
Well, can't we just get like a really big water skin and just put water inside?
I love
All
that.
right.
I can carry a lot of weight.
Love that.
And as I turn around, you guys see that I have a literal chest strapped to me, and then on top of that, there's like a harp. I can carry a lot. I could carry like
You need like a
one
bag
of
of
those
moistness.
kangaroos that have
Ew.
like a bag.
Oh, gross.
Then I could have a water bag, and the frog and I could just chat on the way back.
Well, that's
Perfect.
I might have a water skin big enough.
Okay, because bag of moistness. Gosh, because
Cursed. It's a cursed magic item.
hold on. I'm just gonna take a moment to like stay with the trouble. All right, because we started this off with a natural 20, Breena, I think you know that the frog is mechanically large, and the
Okay.
froglet is mechanically medium. So basically what you need to transport this thing is a water skin the size of a body bag.
I will say, I have powerful build because I'm steerable. I count as one size larger when determining my carrying capacity and weight. I can push, drag, or lift.
Ooh.
Freaking
I don't know if that
amazing.
includes. I don't know if that includes.
You know what?
the video,
We're going to
but-
call it. Here's the one question that I have, and I know who I'm asking, and I recognize the conflict of interest here. Do you as a table, knowing that a sack, like a regular sack, costs 1 copper piece, do you at the table think that a waterproof body bag costs 25 gold or less? Because
Well,
if you say yes, you can have it.
so I have something that's almost that
I
size
forgot.
in
I forgot I
my.
was asking people for whom like mechanic,
I
pedantic
have
accuracy is important.
So there's dry bags that you can buy for like, long distance canoeing trips that have backpack straps on them, and that you can like roll down and seal so they're like waterproof and whatever. So like I have a big one that's like, you could probably fit a small child in it. Haven't tried, probably should have while I was a camp counselor, but so maybe, I don't know. I guess it depends on how much you think a gold piece is value at, right?
I'm also an amphibian, and I sleep in one of those.
Okay, perfect. You know what? The eyes have it.
Hey.
Cedric comes out with
I'm still regrowing my eyes, okay? That's not fair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's rough, buddy.
Wow.
Woo! Okay. Anything else you guys think you need before you are on the road again?
So we're trying to
Here,
catch.
and I give him my chest. Give it to me when we come back.
Fully. I'm gonna find a place for this and someone to help me put it there.
And maybe a chiropractor?
Yep, that too. Oh boy.
Oh, Steady's not coming with us?
Nope. I have some stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably better. He's kind of loud. I'm kind of loud too, but you know.
Yeah, the last time I went out on a field...
And annoying.
Yeah, see, the last time I went out on a field expedition, it was with Karell, and he'll probably tell you how poorly that went.
No, you're right. It's for the best. You have a lot.
Okay, well, you didn't have to agree so quickly. I mean,
you already have my invoice to start working on. I don't know where you're gonna get the money, but you gotta get it.
Got that. You know what? Maybe we'll.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we're trying to get a baby frog that's bigger. Like, if Karell and I stood on each other's shoulders, that's the size we're going for. Oh, okay.
We can do this.
Sure. Yes, we can do this.
We have lots of wine. We have 4 people.
We have this
I'm gonna
map.
Pretend I didn't hear that.
I have faith in us.
Flips it upside down.
This map.
Yeah, that's right. Compass Rose is in the top right.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, we're in it.
We're in it. Yeah.
Okay, there's welcome to field work.
Yes.
Party of 4. This is where the scientists are made. This is where good reporting happens. And you guys hit the road. It is I think here's the picture I want to give you. Is I want actually real quick, marching order. Where are you? Like, there's 4 of you. Who's in the row where?
I'm in the back.
Okay.
I would probably be up front.
I will go behind Karell. We can go in, not quite height order.
Yeah, low, real time.
Yeah. I'll be in the middle, but like mostly in like, ooh.
Head on a swivel. Yeah. Kira's one of those hikers who takes. I've been both of these people. Like, there's 2 kinds of people who go hiking. There's the people who go hiking to get places, and there's the people who go hiking to go hiking.
Yeah.
I know which one Kira is. Right, just quick poll. The rest of you, where does your character fall on that spectrum?
I feel like since we have a mission right now, Breena's probably like, we're going to get somewhere, but like she's still like looking. Like, yeah.
I would say I'm more target oriented.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The Esculenta in the back?
Yeah, I'm in the back. Sorry, I got distracted by my cat.
Oh, no worries.
Being very adorable on the floor.
There's always something happening out of frame. There's a life lesson there, I think.
Oh my goodness, he brought snacks.
Oh gosh. I think that we're gonna skip past. We're gonna skip through the first day. It's gonna picture, if you will, the 4 of you in silhouette, and something very mid 2000s, with a 4 on the floor beat, and a banjo probably is playing in the background, and you guys are walking forward, and the ground is level, and the sun circles over you, and as it swaps places with the moon, the ground begins to ascend, and it is the morning of, let's not go quite there yet. Uh-oh. Because what I need is a round of, actually what I need to know is everybody's passive perception real quick. Passive perception is a weird score. It's 10 plus your perception modifier, and it represents your ability to just sort of notice things when you aren't actively looking for them.
14.
12.
15.
Okay.
15 too.
Hold on, I gotta make a quick list here.
2 Ks. That's not good. Okay. So Esculenta, you were at 14?
15.
15. That's what I thought. No, it's not. I just said what I thought. Breena?
At 12.
Okay. And then Karell was 14. Kira?
Yep.
15.
Okay. Perfect. I'm not going to use that yet because I need a round. I need a round of perception checks from the table.
Okay. Oh, well.
17 for me.
Okay.
7.
Oh gosh.
10.
Okay.
I burned it all on the net 20 earlier.
What are we rolling? I didn't catch that.
Perception.
Okay.
I'm so
D20?
proud of my. Yeah, it's a D20 and then your wisdom's modifier. And if you are proficient in the perception skill, which I believe all elves are.
So it says 18.
On the die?
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So it's only going to get better. Weirdly, this is in reverse marching order. I don't know how. So that tells me that what you're hearing is behind you and to your right.
Oh, good.
And it is the other thing you don't have in this particular time period before we bounded America with iron and before we split it neatly by halves and put it in rows is steam engines. So when I tell you that the sound you hear is like the roar of distant steam engines, you're going to have to do a little bit of translation. Kira, you hear it first, and you're familiar, I think, with a lot of animal noises, and this one is exceptionally loud. What does it remind you of?
Like a lion's roar, perhaps. That sort of low rumble that reverberates.
Yeah. And reverberate is the right word, and there is there's a couple of reasons that lions roar. I want you, Kira, to make an insight check for me.
Okay. That's a 17.
Okay. One of the reasons that lions roar is to declare their territory. This is mine. Another is to invite members of their desired sex. This is mine and you should come over. And that's more the vibe that you're getting from this particular sound.
Can I ascertain the species?
Well, I am so pleased. I can't tell you how happy I am to say this.
Oh no.
Make a nature check.
Hey!
Roll credits.
Oh, that's really good. What is 16 plus 8? 24?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Nature is
You have a plus 8 to nature check?
Oh my gosh.
I'm a bard.
Okay.
Expertise, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what do I do with a 24?
Give her
here's
all of the stuff.
There's two things you learn with a 24. One, one is that this is too loud to be natural. This is magically enhanced, and there are only a handful of creatures who are capable of that. You know from your time in a bard college that one of them is a laughing owl. It's a little burrowing owl that would have lived in the dormitory walls and was studied for the magical abilities of its laugh. And cutting words was actually inspired by the ability of this laughing owl to sort of interrupt an attack or a movement or a motion. The other one is what's called a womper. And you remember the womper because
it was on your admissions test to the Bard's College. There's a question that usually every Bard gets asked when they come in, and it is, how many wompers would it take to defeat an adult dragon in combat? The womper, you know, is a bird that is capable of creating, you might have access to the spell. I don't know if it's on the Bard's list, but it's like there's a spell called Thunder Wave, where you create a concussive burst of sound centered on yourself. Much in the way that bards learned cutting words from the Laughing Owl, they learned Thunder Wave from the Womper. The other thing you know about Wompers is that they have lekking grounds. They gather in certain places every year to find a mate. And there isn't a lekking ground on Sedgwick's map, and there should have been. Because you're about to walk right through one.
Oh, good.
Do you guys hear that?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I was right. This is an exciting trip. We're about to interrupt a bunch of wompers trying to mate.
That seems impolite at the very least.
I guess that's true.
So here's how we're going to resolve this mechanically. You have 2 options plus 1, which is the golden rule of DMing. You can go through, and that's going to cost you some stuff. You can go around, and that's going to cost you some stuff. Probably some different stuff. Or you can tell me your plan, and we'll see how it goes.
Do we see the lekking ground?
On a 24, you got enough notice not to run dead into it.
Oh, good.
How big is this area where the males
that's a great question.
Presumably
you know what?
Puffing out their chests and dancing?
I might have an answer to that.
Stuff.
I don't.
You don't.
I wrote like 1,300 words on this bird. I didn't figure out how big.
What are the odds we could impersonate one?
Ooh.
Really good. I'm really good at imitating animal sounds, and I even have a spell that imitates their sound. But I'm not sure if I want those birds to try and mate with me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
How many are there? If you don't have a distance, do you have a number of individuals?
Oh gosh.
I do have a spell to speak with animals.
Oh,
I don't know what I would say.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. We're on the same wavelength or whatever. Yeah. Go for it. Talk to the birds.
What do you suggest that I say to these these birds?
What's the opposite of sliding into a bird's DM?
I mean, I guess we want to be able to walk without being deafened through this area.
Check my stat block.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a risk.
So you want me to tell them essentially to shut up?
For the moment, maybe. Yes.
Right.
Do we have something we could give them?
How about I ask one of them if there's a way around? They're like, it's like a better.
Sure.
I just don't want them to try to fight us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you this, so you have stuff to work with. You're looking at the tail end of a 600-acre spit of land. How we missed it, I don't know.
I'm gonna kill Cedric.
Apparently, he's not in the cartography program.
Yeah.
I'm not very familiar with acres.
Oh, that's a great question.
Ooh, I never remember the conversion.
or like even like like miles in D&D travel kind of thing. Like
yeah,
600 acres is a lot of a lot.
It's a lot.
A lot.
I'm not looking acres either, but he said 600, and I was like, okay, that's too many.
Like, I mean,
I'm looking. Well, I'm thinking of. Has anybody ever been to Martha's Vineyard?
No.
Okay, it's an island off the coast of Massachusetts. It's not that big. And God, I wish I knew exactly how big a heath hen lecking ground was, because I would use that number. But I don't. But I do know that they were assigned 600 acres of old Great Prairie in the Massachusetts Commonwealth in 1908, because for a while the heath hen was the most protected bird in the world. So we're going to take that for a spin in the game, and I think let's say that this is also a world, I think, that has mosaic landscape. And I think this is kind of how it was pre-European settlement, that rather than being sort of homogenous, you would have pockets of forest surrounded by pockets of plain and pine barrens, and that's kind of the ecosystem in which the heath hen would have thrived. Extremely difficult to map if you don't have. I don't know how maps work, guys.
I do have a question.
Ooh. Yeah.
Do wompers have any natural predators?
That I should know. Well, does anybody know if grouse have any natural predators?
I mean, it's a big chicken, so
it is a big chicken.
It's delicious, and mountain lion, lynx, bobcat, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
The answer is yes, many.
So what is the magical equivalent of a bobcat?
Oh no! Oh, I know.
You've asked the right guy for that. But before I tell you what my answer is, Sheryl?
Oh no! The thing that immediately popped into my head was a standard, classic D&D monster that I would not like to meet today. So whenever anybody is like, "What's a fantasy cat?" My brain is like Displacer Beast. You're talking about a Displacer Beast. Like, no, I don't want that right now.
I'm gonna put it on the table. Does anybody know the call of the Displacer Beast?
Kira will start asking to anyone, goes,
oh,
as loud as she can.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
So here's the trick that you have to do when you do that.
Say, I'm an actor. I can imitate imitate perfectly the sound of creatures and people that I have met or heard for longer than 1 minute.
Gotta love
my
that.
Gosh,
it's a good feat.
I've never seen anybody use it this way, but I'm going to chalk this up to excellent, because here's the thing: when you do the call of a Displacer Beast, you have to get the trick of it right, which is you have to throw your voice. You have to make it sound like you're coming roughly 3 feet away from wherever you are at the moment. And only a trained actor can pull that off. And you've nailed it. This is, by the way, I don't know what the intelligence score of a Displacer Beast is offhand, but it's more than 8. They're smart enough to hunt you on purpose. This is a call that awakens something in your mind. It goes straight past the brain that says, hey, I am a thinking living creature who has fire and a sword and a light switch, and straight to the part of your brain that says, I am a bag of meat and there are other bags of meat that are bigger than me.
That's how it sounds like. I'll say after finishing.
Oh.
Let's see.
Oh, and it goes totally dead quiet.
Yeah.
Did that scatter the wompers?
At this distance, you get a heartbeat and a half of silence. And as anyone who's been in a crowd of people or amorous wompers will tell you, a heartbeat and a half is an eternity.
Let's go.
Run for it.
I can do it again. Don't worry, guys.
Oh, good.
And once we get closer, I'll do it again.
Okay. Gosh, I didn't make you roll for it the last time, so I can't make you roll for it again.
I can roll if you want.
You know what? Yeah, gosh. So here's the thing. Don't call for a roll if you don't care. And I don't, because you've already sold me on this. What I do need you guys to do is make an athletics check, because the plan that you've told me is yell real loud and run like hell. You've got half of that plan, and I need the other half. So I need everybody to make a strength athletics check. So this is your D20 plus your strength modifier plus your athletics skill if you are proficient in it.
Okay. So it was the roll plus athletics plus what?
Just your athletics if you have that on your character sheet, because it'll tabulate it up.
It'll do the math.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 15 for me.
Nice.
I have a 14.
Okay.
14 too.
Oh.
I got 11.
Oof. Was looking for a 10. Okay.
Hey, what's happening?
Well, I mean, so two people with real little legs just.
I
know.
And that bag of moistness just sloshing the whole way.
Just
Okay, so you heard them before you saw them, and you see them before you see them before you feel them. I don't know if you have the picture, Sheryl.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. So for the benefit of audio listeners or those who aren't looking at the screen right now, what you're seeing is a field of these. They are mechanically tiny, a couple of, maybe 1.5 feet long, with these huge orange guller sacs under their beak that are fully inflated. And on these, because this is a world in which magic is a selective pressure, these glow with an inner orange light. And each time they call, you can see the prairie grass just whoosh flat in a circle around them. And there's something about this, Kira. Like, even at a dead sprint, full on running for your life, thinking about the answer that you gave to that question, how many of these would it take to defeat a full-grown dragon? You can't help but be struck at the beauty of this. But it's a fleeting moment. It's a fleeting moment as you're running, because, like I said, you can see them before you can feel them. And it rattles every bone in your chest. People, you're going to tell this story later. And actually, you know what? Let's cut forward. I didn't think I was going to do this, but I'm curious. In particular, Karell, let's say it's a few weeks from now, and forget about how this all turns out. Like, this particular moment, running through a field of the most magical mating calls in the world. How do you tell that story to to someone across from you at the bar?
So there I was with these other idiots, screaming our heads off, running through a field. I don't really know how I got there. I can't remember, but I think it was 1,000,000 to 1 odds. It worked. We got to the other side of the field. And I know we thought that there was like this territory of theirs that was 600 square whatever. But they like open fields, and we made it across. And if I had to do it again, I don't think I could.
That's what That's how I'm going to tell this story, you think to yourself, as you turn around on the slope of the mountain. And from this height now, you can see just craters, pockmarks in in the ground at irregular intervals. And then you can see like this weird sort of ant trail through through these craters. And like one really big wet spot where the bag kind of tipped over. And that is where we're going to take our break. Well done, you guys.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Thank you so much to everybody who's watching us. Thank you for chatting or just hanging out with us. Yeah, we're going to take a few minute break and we will be back real soon to continue the adventure. We'll see you soon. Bye. We're back. Now we're live.
Hey, welcome back. Hey. This is Frog of Holding, a Book of Extinction one-shot on Nature Check D. I'm your DM, Lucas Zellers. Oh my gosh, it feels good to say that. With me, of course, are Sheryl, Ethan, Maria, and Chelsea, and we are halfway through this adventure to discover the Frog of Holding itself. And I think we've met these players. We've learned a little bit about the University of Ixil. All free world building, Sheryl, if you want to keep any of that. And you've made your way through the lekking ground of the Womper.
Well, this is all canon now. This is,
Oh, for sure. Yes, absolutely.
And you are collectively nature experts. Bye, Rhodey.
Hi.
I should have.
Oh, he's not leaving. He's just like laying in the door.
Okay, he left the frame. I should have acknowledged the cat. I forgot for a hot second that there's a cat and no one's listening to me. All right. So I think you guys are collectively experts on the finding and retrieving of animals in the wild. It's why you're here. And so I'm going to assume that any hoops I could make you jump through as a DM, any math rocks I could ask you to toss, would eventually come out in your favor. And we've already talked a little bit about the animal that inspired the Frog of Holding, the gastric rooting frog, and where it lived in the mountains of Queensland on the coast. So I want you to imagine the Tenebria equivalent of a Queensland mountain, and a stretch of stream no more than 175 feet long, which is exactly how long, like the maximum range that a gastric rooting frog moved over the course of a single season.
Wow.
Like just that much. Like they didn't go anywhere.
Just like the stream I was a larva in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like home.
Cousin.
We all wonder what that would look like. I kind of visualize just like a little wet, slimy larvae complaining about the stream.
Does Karell have baby pictures?
Oh, God.
So basically, any larval salamander will tend to look like a tiny axolotl. If you're familiar with that.
Oh.
So.
But this one is one that's like complaining about the stream that he's in, the worms that he's finding.
The rest of these idiots do that.
Yeah, that's all these idiots are taking all the good worms.
Yeah. He's a grumpy guy.
Oh gosh. So yeah, it feels like you've come home, Karell, and you have, this is the place. Despite Sedgwick's best efforts, this is definitely the place. And I think one of the biggest dead giveaways was, frogs hop, so they don't leave individual footprints.
They leave they can walk. They do like an awkward crawl because their back legs are so long. It's kind of like a weird.
All right, professional herpetologists, picture for me a frog easily somewhere between 9 and 11 feet long. And describe for me what kind of a track that would leave in a stream bed.
So Can we hit the science bell for a second?
Yes!
Yeah.
So that makes me think Beelzebufo.
Oh yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Is that too much?
was a very large, not 11 feet long, but was a very large frog. It was recently recreated for the Apple show.
Prehistoric Planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's in the Ark video game.
Yeah.
Yes!
It's usually
you can
depicted.
ride it.
I know. Yeah.
You can make a saddle and ride it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's the best frog.
Gosh.
It's usually
Perfect
depicted
frog.
like a ceratophrine frog, which is like the horned frogs, Pac-Man frogs, they're called sometimes, because they're just a mouth basically.
Oh gosh.
So they don't really hop. They kind of hobble around.
Huh.
They're ambush predators.
Yeah.
They don't move very much.
I think from what I know of the gastric rooting frog, nobody wrote down, hey, this is, or at least I didn't read written down, hey, this was an ambush predator. But that tracks for me for a frog that didn't move more than 175 feet in a year.
Yeah.
So, man, the telltale signs of an 11-foot ambush predator. Gosh.
It's probably
Let's
cryptically colored.
Yeah.
Probably looks like a big rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
yes.
assume-
Imagine whatever it eats is also equally big, but it won't eat the bones. So we probably find, if it has bones, so we probably find some bones there.
That's a great question.
Yeah. Well, because I was going to ask, like, this giant frog, but you're describing, like, a cute little mountain stream. So does the frog just, like, live alongside the stream instead of in it? Or, like...
Well, it doesn't necessarily... I mean, there are African bullfrogs, which are another very large frog, are sometimes are desert dwellers. They rely on seasonal rains, and the rest of the year they're buried underground in a mucus cocoon.
Right. Yeah.
Snowmelt, then.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the time of year that it is. Early spring, when wompers and frogs of holding come out. What it is they do. And like all of these things, like these are like checking boxes, man. There's a big rock, there's bones, there's tracks. This is the place.
Suspiciously big rock, and you're like,
Yeah.
Suspiciously big rock.
You guys, what's the plan? You guys.
Well, I say we use the gnome as bait.
I mean, I am very shiny.
It is the size.
Can you guys talk? You mentioned something about talking with animals.
I could talk to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would, want us to just take one of its babies and leave.
They look like rocks, and they're dumb as rocks. I don't know what you're going to be able to say anything useful to it.
Could we, like, make a trade with it for something? Or...
Like the gnome. We could trade the gnome for the...
What?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if it would want me.
The
I
other
guess
thing
we
we
could start
got
by
is
asking.
wine.
Yeah. Or, like, promise it something once we get it to the university?
Did you just propose offering a frog an education?
I mean, do you need student loan forgiveness, Karell?
Yeah, I mean, that will work for me. Oh no.
Zing.
That's the real
I
big bad
majored
evil
in-
guy.
I majored in moistness studies.
No, no! Guys, words matter.
I imagine there is something that the frog might want.
Oh?
Aside from a gnome, maybe. But I feel like we could also still part with the gnome if they do want the gnome.
What's your idea?
I think we should just ask it and see. It could be a perfectly reasonable request. Like you said, they're dumb, so it could probably just, I don't know, ask for a big fly or something.
I love to picture that Esculenta has an actual wine glass as she is suggesting. Like this is the back half of a 2-day hike, and somehow
I mean, they make collapsible wine glasses that you can take camping with you. So
Esculenta patented them in this world.
I have a little strap on my backpack.
Yeah.
Like a camelback with wine.
Yeah. Gosh.
Well, Sedgeflick said that they were making a sweet crib for the Frog of Holding. So, I mean, I guess maybe we could just offer it like nice housing.
Yeah, but didn't that little beardo say that it was for a froglet and not a
right, yeah. Like we could just invite the froglet and be like, oh yeah, there's a cool house being set up.
True. Okay, all right. I feel like we have nothing else to lose. Why not?
All the young have to disperse eventually, right? Like, I mean,
here.
Why don't we just cut it open and take some babies?
Oh, I prefer not to do that.
Yeah, I'm not really fond of like touching frog guts. I don't know about you.
I mean, I just don't want to like negatively impact the population any more than we absolutely have to.
Can't tell you how much stuff I had to rewrite after session 0 because I was like, oh yeah, the thing that I was trying to get people to figure out, they already know.
Take 1d8 of psychic damage.
Yeah, it's a 7.
Oh,
I'm rocked the rest of the night, guys.
Let's ask it. Let's talk to the frog and ask it.
Like your plan. And like I look at you, Esculenta, and I'm like, you're gonna do great. I'm sure of it. And you have a bardic inspiration die. For the next 10 minutes, you can roll a 1d8 when you make an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
And that's one time, right? It's a one use.
Yeah, one time. You get to choose. So you can roll your die beforehand, and then you're like, oh, maybe I need a little bit something. Then you can roll a d8.
Okay. All right. So what am I rolling?
Well, that depends. I think, gosh, I'm making you roll to clock where this thing is. It's just going to burn more time.
If you want, I have the spell locate animal.
Oh,
so I'm like,
Ooh.
I'm sure
we
you
both
can
have
do
it. We can both do it.
Lucas is like, why are they so prepared?
Convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
It's almost like I told you what you were going to be doing.
Do you know in like Dragon Ball Z where Gohan and Trunks?
Card.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
We sync in our locate
animal.
Locate animal.
Oh my god.
We're finding this frog.
Yeah.
Even though there is a suspiciously large rock right here, we're gonna find this frog anyway.
I'm leaning against it.
Oh, good.
All right.
Oh, good.
So there's some interesting wording in this spell that I'm going to ask anyone watching this who is like strictly rules as written to just relax for a minute. Concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings, you learn you describe a name or a specific kind of beast or plant. Concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings, you learn the voice of nature in your surroundings to the closest creature or plant of that kind within 5 miles, if any are present, which is buck wild. I just again, I've never done field work, but if I had this, I'd do it way faster. I'd put you all out of work.
Yes.
On the basis that creature or plant of that kind, I'm going to say the spell works. And indeed, there's a kind of a Beelzebufo shaped Pac-Man rock directly behind Karell's left elbow. That's just like
that's singing the song of his people to your magically enhanced ears. This is the frog. When you're handling a Beezle Bufo, it's like, is it important that you stay like behind it, or can you touch it and then it won't eat your face? Like, I don't know. Like, is the
well, Beezle Bufo is extinct, but I assume you'd want to stay away from the
oh, right,
end.
Yeah, probably.
So luck, whatever luck you're carrying, Karell, mark off 1 point. Like, again, there's no mechanical thing to that, but like, if you were a cat and you had 9 lives, this would be one of them, because you're on this thing's like
got it. Yep.
Haunch.
And yeah, for a while.
So yeah, this is the frog. What do you guys do?
I think we're like thinking, maybe we both look towards Karell. And Esculenta,
I'm not a frog, okay? I am a newt.
Racist.
What's the difference, huh?
Oh, gosh.
Oh no.
Why don't we put you back in the back?
It's gonna be PvP in a hot second.
But yeah, I just look towards Esculenta.
Why are you looking at Karell?
I kind of do one of these.
Look towards Esculenta.
The rock moved. The rock moved.
Yeah.
It is slow and ponderous, and it makes kind of. I don't know if you've ever tried to get Play-Doh out of a can. But that's the sound that it makes when it kind of slips through the mud a little bit. And yeah, there's like moss and stuff that's shaken loose, and it's like one of those optical illusion puzzles where you stare at it long enough and then you see the cat, like, oh dang, there's a frog this whole time.
Oh, it doesn't make the sound anymore. Dang.
Oh, you had Play-Doh right there
Already.
God bless you.
All right, you guys wanted to ask it for a baby.
Okay, let me try to talk to this frog.
I have another idea if this doesn't work. Maybe.
It's not going to.
Raising kids is hard. Do you want all of them? Is my
Amazing.
Direct.
Oh,
Spoken
man.
like a true millennial.
Is it are frogs of holding K selecting or R selecting?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
You're gonna have to ring that bell. I don't know.
So there's like 2 basic strategies for raising young, or like investing time and resources in young.
Sure, yeah.
And one is like how people do, where we have ideally 1 baby at a time and put a lot of resources into taking care of it, and therefore it is very likely to survive. The alternate is to just sort of like play the lottery and make as many babies as possible and completely ignore them, and some of them will survive.
Which is more typical for frogs.
Right,
right, yeah.
Brooding frogs.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be the only K-selecting frog on the planet.
Could be. So he's, yeah.
Esculenta, I'm going to give you this. As you ask this question to the frog, let's gloss over how the frog understood all of the implications of that. And you guys have seen the picture. There's this low sound that not quite womper level, but you could feel this rattling in your ears, and like, whoa. And the mouth of the frog opens up, and a much smaller frog, like a sock puppet in a drawer, just. And there's just the one is the thing. And I think like nobody's like there is smaller cousin here, and nobody's been actively aggressive to this frog. I think it's just curious at the moment. Somewhat less deep, the sound of the froglet of holding.
What did they say?
You're not gonna like this. So apparently, this boulder of a frog here only has the one baby.
Oh.
Yeah. And baby doesn't seem to like us very much.
Okay.
Seems pretty keen on us staying in its mom.
Did you offer it the nice terrarium or whatever it is that Cedric's making?
Hold on. Good point. So, what if we give you like a hotel, like a nice hotel room? You get catering. Bring you all the flies or whatever it is you eat.
Gosh. All right, this is where I got to call for a roll. This is a charisma persuasion check if ever I've heard one.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna do that.
I mean, it's what you said.
You got that the bardic inspiration too.
I know. Yeah. I put my dice like over to the side here to wait for it. Okay, so let me do this roll. And I'm rolling the d20, and then the inspiration is a d8, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I have to figure out the difficulty class to both impart to a frog the idea of a hotel, and then decide for the frog to decide, is this cool for me?
Like a really nice inn, a fancy inn. You get like 5.
I think you gotta say another pond, like a different pond.
Sure. Something is definitely being lost in translation here when we recount the tale to our listeners.
A sexier pond where you don't even have to hunt. We bring the food to you. What else could you want? You're the only one in this pond. No one else shares it with you.
I was promised a pond years ago, and I have priority. Okay.
How'd you ruining this for us?
All right, what's the roll, Chelsea?
Okay, so I got 12.
Okay. Oh boy.
But I still have my
Roll it. Yeah. 12 is not good enough.
I'm just like praying.
Get an 8.
It's an 8.
Yes!
Yes! Oh man!
Woo!
Oh gosh!
20. Heck yeah!
Nothing but a 20. Like I couldn't. I thought about 15, and I thought about every number after that, and none of them felt right for what you're trying to do. But on a 20, against all odds, maybe it is the absolute. Maybe it is the envy like radiating off of Karell when you say a cush pond with catering. Maybe
plans you could want.
Maybe it's Karell. Maybe it's Kira's soothing presence. Maybe it's the light glinting off of Breena's plate armor that is just so distracting. And maybe it is the piles of nonsense you keep adding to this hotel. But something
I could bring you wine. I don't know if frogs drink wine, but I can make fly wine. I've never made it before, but if you want wine,
is that like Spanish fly?
Something in this frog's mind clicks, and it leaps out of the frog of holding. They're in separate places now, and it's just like, you know what? This will be important later, I promise. Or it might be, so I'm going to call for a roll. Kira, you had to bag this whole time, right?
Yeah, I present it. I open it.
Yeah. I need you to make an athletics check, I think, to catch the frog on the way down. Because I think if you do, things are going to go better for you from here on out. You know, like a nice soft landing. You're already in the bag.
Can I assist her by sort of like holding the... Oops.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
All right. You're stabilizing me. 11. So
11.
13. That was the first roll. 13, sorry.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
kind of hits the edge and
Yeah.
It rolled real bad. I wanted it to. Well, no. If I roll, I want it to be under your number. So yeah, it kind of dribbles out. There is like one photograph in existence of a gastric brooding frog, sort of in situ, and it definitely looks like like me trying to climb out of a pool after like 8 laps, just bleh, and that's what happens. You kind of bleh out of the frog. You make the best of it, but it's not pretty, and not quite a smooth introduction to the world. Something has changed in the situation of the frog of holding. It's a few pounds. Well, actually, it's not any lighter than it was because extra dimensional space, but it definitely like feels emptier. You've convinced the froglet of holding that absolutely this is a great idea. Sure, there's just one problem.
Uh-oh.
And that's Mom.
Empty nesters.
There's a titanic shift, not forward or backward or sideways, but like yaw, as the frog sort of rotates itself around to point that gaping Bufo. God, I'm going to get it right once tonight. I promise, Ethan. It points that giant mouth right at you guys. And just, what do you guys do?
I feel like Karell should handle this.
So I operate on instinct. I can feel it happening, and I get in front of everybody, and I have my sword drawn because I know the tongue is coming.
Okay.
With my nat 20, somebody's going to have to help me remember the name for this phenomenon, but with my nat 20, would I know if the frog of holding would be subject to the thing where you flip them upside down and tickle their tummy and they just like stop moving and doing stuff? What is that called?
Tonic immobility.
Thank you. I just always called it hypnotizing frogs when I was a kid, but tonic immobility is
I've done it with chickens, but never with frogs. You're kidding.
Frogs, like alligators and crocodiles, like there's a whole bunch of animals that'll do
God, so, this is why we play the game.
Would I know that if that's a thing that the frog of holding would be subject to?
Wait. I have an idea.
Oh.
Okay, so if we can get it tonically immobile, I know what to do next.
Okay.
You know what?
Now we just have to get it upside down.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, because I don't think anybody knows. And I think that's hilarious. Okay. If you're going to try to flip the frog upside down, we got to roll initiative, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm rolling a d20, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're rolling a d20 and adding your dexterity modifier. Maria, if you don't know, there's a thing about bards. It's called Jack of all trades.
I have my proficiency bonus rounded down.
Yep. You add it to every ability check that doesn't use your proficiency bonus.
I have been, except for the beginning, because I forgot at the gala, but I have been ever since.
Nice. So yeah, your initiative is going to be a little bit higher than everybody else's.
Oh, my initiative too. I did not add it to my initiative.
This is my
the initiative and the dexterity get added. Correct?
Your initiative should be your.
You roll a d20 and add your dexterity modifier. Bards are special and get to do things first.
Yeah. But you know what's fun? I had a -1 in initiative, so now I have a +0.
Hey.
Perfect. Straight rolls. All right, there's only 4 of us. I'm going to go around the screen. Breena.
I am slow. I got a 9.
Hey, plate armor.
Yeah.
Ethan.
I got a 9 too.
Hey, we'll see you all tomorrow.
What's your dexterity modifier, Karell?
Dexterity modifier was 2.
Oh,
and
okay.
I rolled a 7.
Okay, so he'll go before me. Yeah.
Nice. Plus 2 and Kira.
Bless you. I'm an 8.
Oh, jeez.
You won't see us tomorrow.
All right.
So I got a 6. and my modifiers.
All right.
Too.
So we can't flip it over.
I'd have had
Great
two
rolls.
wine.
Great
I'm
rolls.
so sorry.
It's all right. My plan is still going to work. I got this.
All right. So
No,
I haven't rolled yet.
We're in
That
trouble.
was a bad idea.
Oh, get all the bad rolls out of the way with initiative, friends.
that one's the frog. That one's the froglet.
Nice.
Was that okay?
Oh.
What was it?
I thought he
Lucky.
had already rolled them because there was a nat 20 staring at the screen, and it was.
Oh
like,
no. No, I just tossed it. Tossed the math rocks. All right. Frog. Good news, everyone.
Yes, Professor.
Gosh, I forgot for a second about Futurama.
Mhm.
The
I
froglet.
didn't.
The froglet's going first.
Okay.
The frog rolled a 1.
Yeah! Everything's coming up, adventurers.
So the froglet is going to spend its turn chilling in the bag. Seems great. Life is grand. He's going to spend it. Next up is Karell.
Okay.
The frog is squaring up. It has made a decision about this situation.
I need the wine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Esculenta. I'm gonna need the wine.
Okay, how much wine?
A lot.
do you need?
I need you to. I know, but I need you to spray the frog with the wine.
I'll send you an invoice after it.
Fine.
That's okay.
Okay.
Because frogs, as my people as well, imbibe all liquids through their skin.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
I will give you the wine.
So, Karell, are you you're waiting for her to spray wine on the frog and then you want to do something after that?
I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Oh,
My
okay.
plan was to get the frog drunk.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you wanted to hold your action, but yeah.
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
We'll slot you in at the bottom of the initiative order.
Okay.
And
so I'm waiting to roll. Is that what's happening?
yeah, because if you're waiting for her to do something before you do something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
then we can make that happen. So next one in the initiative order, that's going to be Breena.
Okay, if you're spraying it, should I just get out of the way, or should I hold it, or?
I mean, give the people what they want. Flip the frog.
I'm gonna try to flip the frog, and I'm wearing the gauntlets of ogre power, so I'm stupid strong.
Boost.
So now it's getting hit. It's getting liquid directly on its
the
ventral
softer
surfaces.
Yeah.
Is this is it
I mean, this is gonna
athletics
be-
for grapple? Is that what we're doing here?
Yep. You
Okay.
roll athletics, and the frog will choose athletics or acrobatics, neither of which matter.
Jeez Louise, why am I rolling so badly? Oh, it was the nat 20 and then nothing.
I got a 13.
Okay. This thing's looking at a +3, so you've got even odds.
Oh, good.
Mm.
That's a 10. Tie goes to the adventurer. Tell me, Sheryl, at this moment, I need you to tell me what it looks like when a gnome paladin, bristling with ogre's power,
Yeah.
flips a giant frog.
I think I said I wasn't going to be doing flips in the air, but here we are. So I think she sort of coils herself real low against the ground and kicks off and in the air kind of grabs, they have that kind of rigid edge to their lip, kind of flips in the air and grabs the rigid edge of their lip and just pulls it over as she's flying through the air.
It's less a flip and more of a roll.
Yeah.
There's the second, it's just everything that makes a sound today makes a sound that can only be described as plorp. And it's just this slipping out of the way and just bang.
Yeah.
If you've ever hit mud with a hammer, because I have, and it was great, and I'll never forget the sound that it makes. That's the sound that it makes. Do you have multi-attack at this level? I think you do.
I do. It does say I can do 2 attacks if I'm.
Yeah.
The grapple is that.
A grapple will replace one of them. So if you want to take another attack, that's up to you.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm gonna wait to see what happens when we spray wine on.
I get okay. So then, are we back to me, or are we going with?
Well, the frog is upside down, but the frog has not been soused yet. Right. So the next one in the initiative order would be Esculenta.
Oh no!
What a rip!
Oh no!
All right. So what am I rolling?
I don't know, man. I mean, pitch me something. What do you? Is this?
Oh, what do I want to do?
Yeah, you tell me. How in the world are you gonna?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot happening, and I don't know how I can add to any of it.
I mean,
Esculenta's a
ranger.
It's a sight to see.
Yeah, Esculenta's a ranger, and if you're spraying it with wine, that's like a ranged attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a ranged attack roll.
Oh god, that's a waste of time.
I need you to do it because I'm the blind guy.
Right. And you are paying me. You're paying me. You're paying me.
It's on the invoice.
Mm-hmm.
Charge it to the museum.
All right, ranged attack.
You're dripping on me. Stop that.
Let's see. So, did I just roll a regular d20?
That's right. And whatever your ranged attack bonus is. Again, for the rules lawyers in the crowd, ordinarily this would probably be considered an improvised weapon. I think Esculenta is proficient.
With wine?
What's the word?
It's a 20.
Yeah!
The modifier is +7.
How much wine are you carrying?
None of your business.
She has a bag of holding filled with wine.
All right, you tell me how much wine you invest on this particular venture.
Yes.
I am carrying a significant amount of wine, but I do also have like my weapons and cooking utensils. And
right.
So, you know.
Here's my other question. Did you bring the good stuff?
I brought the medium stuff.
Okay. Because I'm going to make a constitution saving throw. And here's how I'm going to do it. Since it isn't the good stuff, for every one above 10 that the frog rolls is 1 round before it's completely soused. 10 or lower happens right away. This is a very absorbent frog. And we'll move on with the plan. Oof, bad news.
No.
I mean, it's a giant frog.
Frog because, like, I just visualize a frog diaper is.
I rolled
we call this move gin and tonic immobility.
Hey!
That's really good. Okay.
Bravo. I'd like you to mark down DM's inspiration for that.
Yes,
that is a free reroll you could use at any point. Just remind us about your very good joke, and you'll have advantage on whatever you want. I rolled a 27, which is like 16 rounds. The 19 plus 8.
No.
This frog's kind of a big deal. I'm sorry to say, this frog has. You should have brought the good stuff.
You don't seem very sorry.
I mean, I'm on everybody's side, is what I'm saying.
That's good enough. For the frog. It's a frog. What does it know about wine?
All right. Well, good news is, I'm gonna.
Does anybody else hear that echo?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but
you're echoing a little bit, Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Oh, God. That happens sometimes, and I don't know why.
No worries. I was just wondering if it was me.
No other audio is playing for me. I don't have.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's, you know what, we'll call it audience immersion. It's drunko.
Yeah.
Man, I really want to give you this, but the dice said no.
Oh boy! Yikes! Okay.
The dice said
It's
no.
okay. I'll keep holding it. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. So,
so she's being stingy. She's being stingy with the wine.
Oh.
No,
And I can feel it. She doesn't want me. She doesn't.
Because the meal is good enough for us, right?
No, I know you're holding back.
Oh.
No,
So
you're the one that's being bougie. What's the problem? Why?
I take my sword and I run it through the skin with the good stuff.
Oh.
And it goes right onto the frog.
Putting your invoice.
All right, I'm rolling it. It's at 10 plus 8.
18.
So you guys have 8 rounds.
I think at some point I was missed around the initiative.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're next, actually.
Yeah, you're next. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're up.
So I'm really confused by all that's happening, but I have a frog.
It's been
and
a
I'm
busy
like-
18 seconds.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's happening with your mom. I think they're trying to make her go to sleep. Do you want me to show you something cool? And I'm just gonna walk away.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna bonus action hidden step, in which I become invisible, and what I'm carrying also becomes invisible. And I'm just gonna walk away, and I'm like, let me show you something.
That's brilliant.
You know what? I love it. Gosh, you can you know where frogs are. Frogs have what can only be described as a concise language. What you intimate from the froglet of holding is, sounds great. I'm open to new experiences. Ooh, that tingles. Where are we going? What you hear is,
Yeah. And I just start walking back, and I'm like, oh, and here I saw a cricket. There used to be a really good smelling flower. Look, and I just would just hold the bag and show the frog the really nice smelling flower, and I'm just like, use my action.
Just having a great time.
To just walk while I'm invisible, and the frog is also invisible.
Perfect.
Do we need the mom frog? Do we
You
need
do
her
not.
to pass out, or could we just be like, get her to the point where she's like, I love you guys?
Yeah.
We just.
What level?
Well, I
The
mean,
meeting stuff was perfect for that.
I like where Kira is going with this, because like if we can just get the froglet out of sight of the mom, then like ideally we can just skedaddle from there. So.
Kira's just very confused. It's like, I don't know, we got what we wanted. I don't know what
Right.
they're doing, but you know.
Well, we're back to the top of the initiative.
Oh, God.
The froglet of holding, on its turn, is enchanted.
Wait, the frog didn't do anything?
Oh, right. Shoot. Heckin', the whole point I'm here.
What did you remind him?
Well, it's prone.
Because I want to wrestle the frog some more. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's prone and it's grappled. It's gonna try to break the grapple.
Okay.
That's what it's gonna do.
Oh,
Uh-huh,
is it grappling me now?
No, it's trying to break out of my wrestling move that I've got it in.
Okay. I would.
Oh
need you
god,
to-
off
yeah.
the table. Oh
Strength
god,
athletics?
Oh my goodness, can I just? Oh wow, that's only a 10. My dice have abandoned me.
That's a 13 for the frog.
God.
just you don't have the wingspan to contain a mouth this size.
She's like hanging in the air off of its chin, like.
There's a quick toss, and what's your armor class?
My armor class is an 18.
Hey, it rolled a 10. So thankfully it does not make the bite, and it's going to use half its movement to stand up. So it's, oh gosh, like just like picture a pancake rolling itself up and then like unrolling itself, and that's roughly what you've got. And I'm going to make a perception check with disadvantage. You know what? I would love for you, Kira, to make a stealth check at advantage for me. For a hidden step. Just to set the DC on this.
You're muted. I don't know what you said.
Yeah, I just realized I rolled a natural 1 and a natural 20.
Hey! You are gone.
-1. So, but +1 because of Jack of all trades. So,
hey!
What a roller coaster.
Somewhere in Professor Collins' office, Cedric Billingsby is explaining who he sent off this morning, and Professor Collins is like, who? And yeah, the frog rolled 2 15s, which is not going to cut it. It has no idea where the froglet went, and it's just gonna, target rich environment. It's not going to move. Back to the top of the initiative. The froglet, as I said, having a great time. Super invisible. Never felt that before. And Karell.
I'm going to join in the grappling.
Yes.
You've got a thing when you grapple, right?
And I'm going to use my grung ability here.
Yes.
Which, where is it? Saving the target must succeed. Grung poison, I think. Attack. I think is what it is.
Yeah. And that does
12 con. Is that right?
Okay, so I make a Constitution saving throw. The frog does.
2d4 is what it's saying for damage.
Okay, so so go ahead and roll an athletics check to grapple the frog, and I will roll to contest.
Before you tell us what it is.
Yep.
Is this an ability check?
It is.
I want to use cutting words, and I just want to imitate the sound of a different frog. One frog where I used to live. Something that this frog would recognize, like, that's a frog, but it's not a frog I know, and try to distract it. As I see my friends trying to grapple it. I don't know what's happening, but I want my friends to do well. So
all right.
I believe I roll a d8, right?
Yep, you do. And you tell me what the number is, and I'll take it off the top.
That's a 6.
Dang. All right.
Okay.
What's your number?
I think I rolled the wrong. I think I rolled the wrong dice. Sorry. Am I rolling the d20?
Mm-hmm. Roll a d20 and add your athletics.
Okay. So it's 13.
Hey, yeah. That 6 brought it down to a 3. I cannot in my mind imagine what it looks like for you, with the kind of facility that a natural 1 represents, to wrap yourself around this frog and subdue it.
The 2 smallest characters are on a giant frog.
On, just and
like a rodeo.
Yeah, and it's going to make a Constitution saving throw. That's going to be a 24. So I don't think it's going to take some poison damage. But it's grappled again. Has a movement speed of 0.
Does it make any difference that I am also drunk?
You know what? It's the mediocre stuff, so I'll give it a D6.
It's all mediocre. It's just medium.
Okay. All right, I'll give it a D8.
I don't need mediocre wines. Thank you very much.
That's a 7.
Don't
16.
Craftsmanship.
So here's the math. 16 plus 8 minus 7 is 17. That's still higher than 12, isn't it?
Last I checked, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
traditionally.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to sound patronizing. I was just like checking the DC in my head. It's 12, isn't it? Words. All right. Suffice it to say, trying to get this frog drunk is like trying to get a brick wall drunk. It's possible. It's gonna take some doing. You have another attack if you want to use it.
I'm going to use my ability to jump 25 feet.
Oh, jeez.
Away.
Okay. You are 25 feet down the road. The frog is no longer grappled, but we'll say prone for the heck of it. And we are, let's see, this that brings us to Breena.
Okay.
So I am going to so Karell is not grappling the frog.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
He has gathered his legs beneath him and shot like a bolt from a ballista.
Okay.
Basically, I've left you all to die.
Right. Okay. So,
well, everybody but Kira.
well, yeah, Kira's already out.
I'll tell you this: if the frog is prone,
yeah.
It has to spend half its movement to get up.
Yeah.
Which means you have about a 15-foot lead on this thing right now.
Right. So I'm gonna leave. With my I'm gonna leave with my all 25 feet of my speed. And as I do that, I'm going to yell "halt" at it and cast command, and it must make a let's bring some spells into this. It must make a wisdom save.
Straight roll, it's a 13.
Hey, fails. It must use its next turn to halt and do nothing else.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yay.
That makes it easy for me when we get to the bottom of initiative. Kira, it's going to be you.
I just keep walking.
Yeah.
And movement. I'm just like.
You're gone. not even running. Just.
Keeping, happily through the forest.
All right, and Esculenta is a prone frog caught in the grip. What does it look like, Breena, when you cast a command? When you infuse a word with the power to make real its intent in another living being?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
So I think a lot of her magic is like she's a very sort of like kind of like person. So I think a lot of her magic, like the visual part of it manifests in like sort of like bright green and gold sparklies in the air. So there's maybe just sort of this like little bit of bright green and gold twinkly around the frog, like around its head that like, oh, it's, it's been, that's a charm spell, right? Or it's, it's some kind of,
Low-level enchantment.
Yep.
Swirls around the frog's head, and Esculenta, you watch it into the frog's head like a crown of chains, holding the frog still. What do you do?
Well, you see, I leave.
All right,
we're gonna use my medium wine, my really good wine. And I see that Karell has ducked out, and I'm like, well, why not me? So I run, and I have Mask of the Wild, which means I can like attempt to hide even when I'm only lightly obscured. And there's like a patch of trees, so I just kind of like duck into them, and I'm like, don't see me.
Nice.
It's a perfect storm, and the frog spends its turn sinking, I guess, and before too long, you guys are back on the trail down the mountain. We're gonna cut forward in time, past the mountain trail, past the Lecking Ground. Now quiet in the days of the morning after. Past the rest of the trail that led you to the bottom of that mountain and back to the very courtyard at which you began your journey. You are somewhat heavier now, carrying with you the Frog of Holding itself. It is quiet when you get there. Kira, having visited the university before, you're intimately familiar with all of the bird calls around here, and not a single one of them is in evidence. There is no bird song.
I hug the bag a bit protectively, and I look towards Breena, which I believe may be well acquainted with this place, and I'm like, this place sounds quieter than it should, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. I don't really know what that means, though.
You hear a loud... You hear a quiet tapping on wood, and it's coming from the direction of the stables, which last you checked were, pretty full. Stables, how you get around here, how you go further than a day's walk in any direction is you take a horse. There are just horses, several of them at any given moment. Stables completely empty, except for a rapping on the wood. And as you come around, there's a form huddled in the back of the in the back of the stall, dirty, bloodied, and small, and it is Sedgwick Billingsby.
What are you doing back there?
God! Oh! You gotta be very quiet.
Why?
What's going on?
They'll hear you.
Who?
Them. All of them? All of them. Did you bring the... Do you have the frog?
What is wrong with you?
Well, it's just that, and he looks past you, at the rafters of the stable, and there are two birds there. Kira, these are the pigeons from the gala.
Hello.
And there is the pigeons wave back because I guess that's what that's the life of a fearbulk, I guess. And then there's a butterfly that floats into the stable, and it lands between the two pigeons. And then there's a sound that if you had to write it out, I'm not sure what vowel you would use, but I know that the word would begin with VL and end with MCH. That's the sound that you hear as the butterfly rips itself apart in midair and becomes identical to one of the pigeons.
What?
Is that what you're afraid of?
Yeah. You is the frog in here right now? You gotta get rid of it.
Why?
It can't be, because everything that lives here is one of those now.
Okay, don't worry.
What about you?
Hey, what about you?
Well, it's just the animals, I think, so far.
Oh god, I feel like I've had too much wine.
So, wait, so like all the horses turned into pigeons?
Uh-huh.
Well, where are all the horse pigeons?
That's why you have to be very quiet. It all got out of hand. We were you know how the frog of holding is like a Louis Vuitton bag?
Sure.
Like I don't have to tell you that these things go for crazy on the open market. And that thing makes more of stuff. And Collins had this plan, see, where he was going to put the thing in the... And then we lost count.
Did you trick us?
I didn't know.
Well, Cedric?
Insight.
Yeah!
Yeah.
All right, your die on mine.
So I'm trying to discern if, he actually was trying to deceive me or not. That is a 13.
It's an 8 from your boy.
Nice.
He knew. Or if
Okay.
if he didn't, he had a pretty good idea.
Okay. I look at the other ones and I say, I think it's time to leave. And I'm basically gonna turn invisible again, and I'm gonna leave. And once I've seen that my new friends have left, if they take my hint, if they don't, I'm still gonna do it. I'm giving you guys 1 round. I'm gonna do a bunch of noise in the stables.
Wait, are you leaving?
I'm turning invisible. I'm moving away.
Okay.
And I told you guys to leave. And if you guys are not gone in around, you guys may regret it. I don't know. He was saying how we shouldn't make sound, so I'm going to make sure that there's a lot of sound in there.
Okay.
Like,
but all I tell you guys is like, we should
out the
leave
door.
now. And I become invisible and I leave with the froggy.
Is there like, I'm assuming these stable doors might have some sort of like a drop bar or something on them. Can we just like close the door once we're all out?
Sure, the half-size door that.
Oh no! I meant like the the bar. That goes
the whole
across
barn.
to hold the doors closed. Yeah. Because if not, I'll use my axe to like. But yeah, we'll make sure the doors are all the way closed, presuming the others are coming out.
Kira, do you still remember how to make the displacer beast sound?
Yeah.
And you hear outside, I do.
Oh, good.
Yeah, give me one good reason we shouldn't just call a bunch of horny displacer beasts right now.
Maybe they don't want to be pigeons.
Yeah, but if they're pigeons, that means we're safe.
I would like.
I'm sure why he's so bloody if all the horses just turned into pigeons. I feel like there's something extra dangerous going on here.
Well, it's Cedric. Of course he's keeping something from us.
Yeah.
Breena's passive insight is 15. But
oh yeah,
like, can I sort of try to figure out like why he looks so messed up? Like, like what isn't he telling us about this?
I'm trying to think how to get you this information in a way that narratively makes sense. Because like you've seen it happen once, right?
Yeah.
And you've and you have a clock on roughly how many birds are audible on a given point.
Mm-hmm.
None of them. Every single bird, every single horse, every single lizard on the grounds of this campus has been glimpsed. The entire biomass of this space of land is now one species.
Oh, that's bad.
And it's somewhere here. Just like, and Cedric's just trying to walk on eggshells until it decides to leave.
I feel like you should be responsible for containing this problem.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let me just get on that with my
hold on. What else am I
problem containing spell.
Rats. None of these are that useful.
We are at 8:43. So here's what I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give I need Kira to make an intelligence arcana check.
Ooh.
And I need Esculenta to make an intelligence to make a nature check. Doesn't ring as well.
11.
Okay.
You're muted.
I know I didn't want the echo to, but it's another 20.
Hey! Yes. All right.
Here's what my modifier is +2 if that matters.
here's what I'm gonna do. This is what happens when you're running a game to time. Mm-hmm. Like if this were like the table, you know, I would bring in a gargantuan swarm of passenger pigeons.
Everybody
and we
likes
would
swarms.
do a knockdown, drag them out for probably about 45 minutes. But because we've got about 10 to wrap this up, here's what I'm gonna give you. You Kira, you know a couple of things about displacer beasts. First of all, they originate in the Feywild. Not terribly hard. It's sort of the uncanny other world that lays on top of the ecosystem in which we exist. And it's part of and as a Firbolg, you've probably been there at least once. The other thing you know about displacer beasts is that the word beast is a bit of a misnomer. They're technically considered a monstrosity, which means odds are good that if these passenger pigeons are absorbing beasts themselves, a displacer beast too big, too alien to make the cut. Esculenta on a natural 20. I mean, Feywild, that's where you're from. So, you know that there is a ley line running under this school. In fact, it's why it was built here. And you also know that that ley line can be split open like the peel on a sweet potato, giving you just a sliver of the Feywild. And I think, and I think you know on a natural 20 exactly where the reverse of that sweet potato split needs to be to get a half a pack at least of displacer beasts on these grounds. I need you guys to tell me in this moment, in like 10 minutes, with all of the accumulated knowledge of your 5 levels of adventuring, with all of the magic at your disposal, with all of the experience and canniness that you've earned from pulling a living out of the woods by main wit and strength alone. What do you guys throw in the bucket to get a bunch of horny displacer beasts into the College of Edskill?
Well, I have this thing that I can do because I have, playing as biological control. I have this thing I can do because my Oath of the Ancients, so I can either, like, put Sedgwick somewhere as bait and just, like, tie him to the ground with plants. Or I could wander into the Feywild and then, oh gosh, what is it called? Hold on a sec. It is called Turn the Faithless. So that I could go into the Feywild and then, like, find the displacer beasts and use Turn the Faithless to, like, drive them out of the Feywild.
All right, well, you pick, because I'm going to get one thing from each of you, and then I'm going to spin it around, and I'm going to tell you what happens.
Okay.
We're past rolling at this point.
Excellent. You guys
this is down to player choice.
Bait or herding?
I say bait.
Bait.
You knew he was going to vote for that.
Okay.
I agree with that one.
We put Cedric out as bait.
All right. Karell, pride of the caves, hunter most dire of the fire-bellied newts. How are you going to do this?
Well, I learned what the mating call of the displacer beast sounds like during my time in this outing. So when this rift is opened, I'm going to call the horniest displacement beast I can.
Gosh, Kira, you are perhaps the most accomplished arcane caster here. Which, I don't know, might not be saying much, but with all of the, I mean, in a room full of half-casters and martial classes, with all of the
college learning and expertise and jack of all trades that you have, what's your plan?
Well, I have a question for you because I still have the froggy, and the froggy must be kept safe. So currently, I believe that the plan is get a bunch of displacer beasts to eat some of the transforming pigeons. That is correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to draw attention to myself because I have the froggy. So instead, I'm gonna pop out a bag of tricks that I have, and I'm gonna create an animal to be used as bait for the pigeons.
Oh.
So they have basically turned every animal here into something else. So I want to provide them the, here's another animal. When the displacer beasts are starting to come, so that they go into there, and then the displacer beasts can
Very smart.
What animal do you choose?
Can I choose, or do I roll?
I don't know. I don't know how the bag of holding works. I don't know how the bag of tricks works.
You roll.
You roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a percentile for which animal comes out. You just grab a little.
Ball. Grab the dice and tell me what the thing is.
Okay, a badger.
Yeah.
Important question: is it an American or European badger?
Okay.
Neither. Honey badger.
That is it. Oh, I love it. Esculenta, pride of the redwood tree, queen of the termites, most accomplished of brewers and winemakers. She who walks in leaves and trees. How are you going to punch a hole through to the Feywild? What are you bringing to this?
That's a really good question. And I'm not as well versed with displacer beasts as everyone else seems.
I think at least they would. I mean, because they're from the Feywild. They're an ancient mistake, bred to fight in a war and got too smart to ask to wonder why they had to take orders. These are boogeymen. Yeah. These would have been the stories that your mother told you at night in the dark. To get you to stay in bed.
Big scary kitties.
I think I would try to make sure that they get to the pigeons. Pretend to be one of the pigeons taunting them. Since I can't talk to animals, in your mom's smells or something. I don't know. Something that would definitely get the displacer beast's attention. It's like, this pigeon is talking shit. All right.
Yes.
All right. I think that you very easily know how to talk smack in pigeon. I think that's just like a standard skill that you have developed at this point. What you got, Ethan?
Is there a displacer nip? That can maybe chill them out.
Oh, as in like a catnip.
That's a good question.
Sure.
Sure.
If anybody, I'll tell you what. If anybody would know and would have it, it's Esculenta.
Yeah, that's true.
So, in the last few minutes of our time,
my bag somewhere. I just gotta grab it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna condense like 45 minutes of adventuring into closing narration. Here we go. There is for those who can see it, it's a thin blue line running right down the middle of the campus and coming to a star in the center of the courtyard. And that star spins very slowly along with the movement of the earth. And if you punch it just right, in just the right place, with just the right word, it will open up. Kira, Esculenta, you tell Kira about those stories that you heard when you were a child. You tell her the shape of the glade, you tell her the shape of the teeth, the number of them, 6 legs, powerful tentacles, and eyes that see into your mind and know its intent. And Kira, there is a power in a bard's voice. It's kind of the whole point of the magic that you have learned. The ability to speak and have it be so. And you focus that ability, all of your training, all of your magic, into one word: open. And that word crackles with electric power that flows in your eldritch sight into that star, and it spins faster and faster until it opens up into a blinding flash of light, visible even to you, Karell. And the first thing you see is a long, like a triangle, like a diamond covered in teeth, emerging from the portal, and it's followed by a long, snaking tentacle, as thick around as your forearm, and it slams into the ground, and two giant cat pantherine claws push the portal open further, and a set of powerful shoulders emerges, followed by a second set of powerful hunter's shoulders, and a displacer beast pulls itself from the depths of the Feywild into the world. Behind it, first one, and then another, and then another, and behind it, screaming in fury, surrounded by red and green motes of nature's power, is Breena herself, with what can only be described as a beaten stick, herding these displacer beasts into the prime material plane. And Karell, you think back to that night on the plane, and the way that the echoes sounded as they carried over that plane and into the night. A perfect recreation of the call of a displacer beast. And yours doesn't have the displacement to it. Like, you never learned to throw your voice. But for this one moment, it doesn't matter. Because all you need to say is, "Come on if you think you're hard enough." And that rings true in any language. As these displacer beasts pull themselves into the world, there is a sound like thunder.
I just said
from
a hey
miles
there,
away.
sailor in displacer
Yes.
There is a sound like thunder from miles away, and the steeple of Isgil's bell tower explodes as a solid cube of pigeons 20 feet square bursts out like a flower unfolding into and scattering the pollen into the world. Only this pollen is pigeons. Literal billions of pigeons sweep down the tower and into the courtyard, and the world's biggest grudge match happens right in front of your eyes. The vloomp sound begins so many times you can barely count it, and it always stops halfway, as whatever magic makes the displacer beast what it is looks at this beast that's calling it to a lesser form of life, a lesser predator, and laughs in derision, as if I would even consider it. And before the sun has set in the sky, you are standing in a carpet of dead pigeons, up to your waist. With a final word, the star in the center of the courtyard spins again, piles of pigeon bodies descending into it like sand, and the displacer beasts follow them back to whatever nightmare of a jungle lord's imagining they live in. And Cedric is just sitting there, bound in rope, with a sad look on his face, and he says to Esculenta, "You're going to put this on the invoice, aren't you?"
Naturally.
And that's our game, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
That was amazing. Oh, thank you so much to everybody who's been watching us. Thank you to Lucas for making the Book of Extinction and showcasing all of these lovely, exciting, unfortunately extinct animals. And thank you for bringing some of them to us tonight so that we could play this awesome game. Please tell us where people can check out the Book of Extinction, as it is a thing that is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for giving me the space. It's been such a pleasure to be here. I love playing D&D with people who know what they are talking about. If you want to get the passenger pigeon is part of the preview. It's one of the first monsters I did. So you can get that stat block with the preview when you go to scintilla.studio/extinction. That's scintilla.studio/extinction. Pay what you want for it. Every penny we earn will be sent to the Center for Biological Diversity to preserve the biomass of places like Igsil and the wild places of the world.
Nice. And we'll go around one more time briefly to remind everyone where they can find all the players from this evening. Ethan, where can people find you on the internet?
I am at Black Mud Puppy almost everywhere.
Perfect. And
Ethan Kosak, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey! And Maria.
I am at m_gata, that is GATTA, on Twitter. That's the only social media I'm on.
Amazing.
Congratulations. Maria Gata, everybody.
Hey. And Chelsea.
I unfortunately have 2 different handles for Instagram.
No!
Instagram
Keep it simple.
I was being clever when I did it. So my Instagram is @out_to_Chelsea. I'm not taking any questions about it at this time. My Twitter is @ChelseaHerbs. That's HERPS, as in herpetology and herpetofauna, because I study animals and they're the best lizards. Learn more from me if you follow me, which you should.
You should. And, you can find someone here doing science things a lot of the time on Nature Check, but you can also come hang out with us in our Discord or follow us on Twitter for more. And with that, my face hurts from laughing so much because this was a wonderful game and I enjoyed playing with you all so much. So thank you so much, everybody, and we hope you have a good rest of your night. We'll see you back here on Nature Check at some point in the near future. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.